This video is about a couple more Christmas projects with my XTool D1, and here I'm making some key fobs. I actually wound up drawing the outline up in another program and just went and light burned and added the text. And I have this sheet of leather that I bought off of Amazon. I'm trying here, and this is really my first time, trying leather on my own, and I got it mounted on the machine. I had to put some double-sided tape under it to hold it flat because it comes rolled up, and here I am just framing it. And I like using that red pointer for framing. You don't have to worry about the laser running or anything. It's worked good for me so far, so I've kept that turned on. And here I'm just going to start doing engraving a couple lines of it just to see how it goes, because I'm not sure about the settings here. I just grabbed a couple numbers that I use on like cardboard. And so the leather does have a little stinky smell, so you really want a good exhaust on it. And there you can see I just kind of put a couple pieces of the artwork down, and now I'm just trying to see if I can cut it without burning it bad. And it looks like I can. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to just load everything else up on it and actually wind up running the entire part now. And it really does a nice job on leather. I'm really amazed once you get the settings right. Each leather is different. I've ran into a problem with this where the thickness of it is not the same. Depending on where you cut, you get a little bit different thickness, and you need a couple more passes. So that one there, I ran 8 passes on. I kept the power at 90%. And the speed fairly slow, and you can see it didn't quite cut it. It could have probably used another pass on this, but came out pretty good. Just a couple hairs hanging on there I had to pull off. I had to try to trim back later. But basically for my first leather project, this looks pretty good. But then I realized, boy, am I smearing this stuff bad the minute I started touching it. That black stuff was just going all over, and right there it doesn't look bad, but it gets worse every time I touch it. So I went online and I looked for a solution to clean the leather with to get that black stuff off, and I came across a blog about cleaning it. Somebody said use that orange hand soap that you use outdoors for your mechanics hands, and I didn't have any of that. I just had some of this goop stuff here I decided to try. I think this has lanolin in it also that helps the leather. And I took a toothbrush and I just kept going over it and over it until I saw most of the black coming out. It does darken the leather quite a bit from, how it started out there, you can see. But in the end, it actually took all the fingerprints and all the black off and everything else. I was really amazed. This is, I don't know if it's the best way to do it, but it really did wind up working good for me, because this was a mess before I cleaned it with that. And then they said go back and put saddle soap on it. But I only have mink oil. That's what we use on the leather shoes. So I'm going to use that instead. And you can see that it actually took a little bit more of the black that was left on there off. So at this point in time, the leather is really nice, clean, and conditioned, I guess. So it did come out really nice. I'm happy with it. And there you can see a little bit of black soot on the rag there. But this really did clean it up good, and amazing what you can find online. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. This time it worked 100% for me. So I got the first key fob done there. And there you can see really nice engraving, nice depth to it and color and everything else. So I'm real happy with that. And then I've got a little ring I'm going to put on it, and I was going to put a rivet in there, but for now I'm just going to stick a bolt through because I can't find the rivets that I knew I had. And I'm going to order some on Amazon. So just for now I'm going to put I put an M5 in there. I put a 5mm hole in there just to flip it over and hold it while the leather, dries and cures. And, it really does look pretty good. And then I decided to, you're supposed to leave them flop apart, but I decided I'm going to put some gel super glue in there and make this like a solid piece of leather engraved on both sides. So I've got this this gel super glue, and it's getting pretty old now. It's really thick to get out of there. You gotta squeeze the jar good, but it's good for stuff like this. It really does hold, you know, uneven surfaces. And just line it all up perfect there, and put the bolt down in the hole in the bench and clamp it with one of these armored dog clamps. These things are really handy for everything. I'll let that dry while I'm starting my next one. I changed the artwork a little bit, and I messed up this time. No, I wasn't really paying attention to that red line when I did the framing, and I thought it was right on the top edge, but it turned out I was looking at it at an angle, and it was, you can see on the back there, it's about less than 0.5 millimeter over, so I messed this one up, but I'm going to let it run anyway, just to have a, you know, a sample around. So I just shifted it down a little bit. I'm just going to cut the next one. Now this time I used, I did 10 passes around at 90% power. And you can see it didn't come out black or anything really. It did come out pretty nice. And it cut all the holes out and everything. But this is where the leather was a little bit thicker, and I did have some stringing on it. So, you know, I think it's going to be impossible unless you can find an even thickness leather. These pieces of hide do run a little bit different, so I got to do a little trimming with the X-Acto knife on that. But you know, basically it came out you know, with like a 95%er. It does look good, all the engraving. And this time I decided to try some high pressure air to get some of that black stuff off before I started cleaning also. So now it's time to go over and go through the cleaning process all over again, and I guess this will be my new technique for anything I make out of leather. It does do a good job, and it kind of conditions it, and it cleans it, and you know, makes it ready to go. Gets rid of a lot of the smell too. The hand cleaner does remove some of the burnt smell, so it disappears quicker. There it is. You can see it cleaned it good. And now XTool sent me a couple of samples of the items that they sell, the plaques and stuff. And I had this one plaque, and I'm making a little plaque for my granddaughter's door, little girl cave plaque. And I did have the artwork. I made it oversized and then tried to center it on the plaque. So you can see I ran it once on a piece of plywood and then set the plaque on there and burned it. And then they sent me a coaster made out of slate, and I tried that. Oh, that came out amazing. I made a crazy orchid lady sign for my wife. That's what I call her because she has so many orchids. And all of a sudden the little rivets I bought arrived from Amazon, and they're actually they have a screw type rivet. They're not a hammer type rivet. I decided to try these. They look like they'd be handy for a lot of different items. So you just put the one in there that has a thread in it, and then they have the screws that come with it, little short screws, and you just have to thread them in and tighten them with a Phillips head. And I did that one first, and make sure it looks good, and I think it looks pretty cool. I'm happy with it. A little bit of the Phillips head on the other side, but still, it doesn't look that bad. So I'm going to take it apart now and go back and put a drop of super glue on the threads of each of these, because I don't have any Loctite inside here now. So, that's what I'm going to do. So there's my leather engraving kit. I got my rivets. I got, my cleaner and my protector. And it really did come out nice. I'm real happy. Then I did run a couple other projects here. I did try one of the little dog bones that XTool has sent me also. That I couldn't get deep results on. I did 5 passes on that, and that's what I got. And there's a little girl's cave sign. That came out real nice. I'm happy with that. You can hang it on her door. And the coaster they sent me that I made, for my wife. And, I'm happy with the way that stuff does it. Engraves. I want to get a couple more of them. Then I picked up some bamboo spoons and knives and forks at the dollar store and engraved a couple of them. And everything really does come out nice. I've had really good luck with that XTool. I'm starting to get the settings down now and starting to learn the different materials and stuff, and it really does take a lot of time playing with it. But once you get it down, write them down and use them again. Then each batch of material actually is different when you engrave it too. So you do have to, you know, play a little bit each time also. But it's really a fun tool, and it lets you do a lot of really nice work for gifts. So I just thought I'd share these and, you know, just let you see that I'm still doing a little bit of Christmas presents and stuff yet before I get on to other projects. And my wife finished up Brandon number 2, and you can see how nice he came out. So that's all done. And then my wife's amaryllis have opened, and they are just beautiful. They're about 3 feet tall this year. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.